Question.
Okay. Uh, Hello and welcome to Boomer Live once again, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are to preview India versus Sri Lanka, which will be starting off in few minutes from now. So obviously, as you all know, India have been put on to bat first by the Sri Lanka team in a Wankhede wicket, and Rohit Sharma also did accept in the toss by saying that they also wanted to bat first, given the fact that they wanted their bowlers to bowl in the light, giving them the better conditions to ball under. Jaren and Sadibani with me. Welcome on the show, both of you. Let's start off by talking about this, isn't it? Both of you, Jen and Srivani. I'll get to Jen first up. Such a big game for Sri Lanka. Let's just keep India aside. For Sri Lanka to stay alive in this tournament, they will have to win every game from here on. If they go on to defeat a team like India, who's been steamrolling opposition at this point of stage, you can say that'll give them so much of confidence that they can go on and defeat New Zealand and also Bangladesh.
Yeah, I mean, just also two factors that you probably consider looking at Sri Lankan team that Sri Lanka will feel happy about is one is India has lost the most number of ODIs in any. If there's a one ground that India has lost the most number of ODIs, it's in Wankhede. That's I think 9 ODIs is what they've lost compared to 11. Even though the record is still in favor of India, still the most skewed one. And then the other one obviously being the fact that both Sri Lanka and India have won 4 World Cup games against each other. So I think two sets where Sri Lanka will feel like at least the history is on their side. But then having said that, the recent form has not been, and even though they beat England comprehensively in a very similar fashion as well, where they were batting first, I mean bowling first, it's still going to be interesting to see how India copes up with the Lankan challenge. They've also tried to strengthen their bowling by asking Dhananjay De Silva to sit out and I think bring in Hemanta in. Now it's important to see how Hemanta performs with the ball and can he produce a certain result that they're looking for that Dunit Velalage couldn't. I was half expecting Dunit Velalage to show up because of that left arm spinner weakness that some of the Indian batters have, but I think they've gone with a leg spin option in Himanta. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. And I also want to see if Angelo Matthews continues to do what he's been doing so far.
Interesting. Chamira has come back into the team. Big call to have Chamira back into the team. One of the bowlers who really missed out at the start of the World Cup. How big it is going to be for Sri Lanka to have someone of Chamira's class and quality in this team, Sandivani.
Yeah, I think it was a forced change at a point because Lahiru Kumara pulled out due to an injury. And this has been the case or the scenario for Sri Lanka in this World Cup. So many injuries with the fast bowlers, with the spin bowling department as well. And they have missed some of the key players. You saw Angelo Matthews come in, you saw Dushmanta Shamira come in. But it is going to be interesting to see whether Dushmanta Chamira is the same because if he is, then I think he has a great record against Rohit Sharma in the T20s. He has dismissed him some 7 times, if I'm not wrong, at an average of some close to 6 runs. But 50 overs is a different ball game altogether. But given the fact that Rohit Sharma is going to come out all guns blazing, if Chamira is in his element, then that will be a very interesting matchup to watch out for. And I think Chamira is a key potent bowler for Sri Lanka. He had been a very consistent bowler over the last 1 year or so. Since the last IPL, I think he came back into prominence. He was coming off a lean period before that. And also, I think Dilshan Madhushanka is another player you should look out for early on. I think the left arm seamer with the ball nipping in slightly is what has been concerning India in the last say 1.5 2.5 years. But in this tournament, they have shown no signs of trouble so far because the batters have been in great form and they have looked to take the attack on the bowlers. So I think
Yeah.
the approach from the Indian team is going to be interesting to see. Having said that,
Honestly,
I think
and
this is a
also,
belter
funny,
of
I
a
mean,
pitch.
just
Yeah.
talking about that aspect of the left arm seamer, right? Uh, I think most of the left arm seamers haven't done that well as well. Stark, Trent Bolt, they haven't been as impressive as they've been in past World Cups. And that's where two bowlers that India is going to face. I'm going to be very interested at how they deal with. One is Madhushanka and one is Marco Janssen. Both are at the top of the power play bowling when it comes to left arm seamers. They've been the only two left arm seamers who I think have really done consistently well in the power play and beyond that. So this is going to be a bigger challenge. I'm not saying that Stark and Trent Bolt are not good bowlers in any way or Madhushanka is better than them, but just this World Cup, Madhushanka has had better numbers. So that's where Madhushanka's role in this team for Sri Lanka is going to be important, and that's where India's
Yeah.
approach against Madhushanka is going to be interesting to see.
Absolutely. But there's another interesting factor about this as well. I think the ball hasn't really swung, especially for left arm seamers, as we saw in England. It has swung for Marco Jansen. It's more than swing; it's the height which he's got. He's gotten those bounds from awkward
Yeah.
positions. For Madhushanka, at least you can say, yeah, he's balled some really good balls to David Warner, Gurbaz, and whatnot. But he's not been consistent enough to maintain the pressure throughout the 10 overs. It tends to taper off, come a second spell. He's good in the first 4 overs, but you still can't say he's of the quality of Trent Bolt or of the
No, of
quality of
course not.
No,
Shaheen
I
Afridi
think
on peak.
obviously he has been a bit lucky, but also I think he has bowled some crucial overs for Sri Lanka right now, and also he has been a very good power play bowler. Along with that, you also have to give him credit for coming into the second spell or the third spell and picking up wickets. I think that is where even a Shaheen Shah Afridi has done tremendously well. He's coming in and picking regular wickets in the middle overs, something which he did not used to do previously. The slower ball variation is working fine for him. He's really confusing the batsmen with his off cutters.
Mhm.
And apart from the game against Bangladesh that we saw last time around, I mean, day before yesterday, apart from
Yeah.
that game, we haven't seen Shaheen Shah Afridi come to the power plays as well. You talk about Trent Bolt, you talk about Mitchell Stark. I think the power play bowling of Shaheen Shah Afridi has been slightly disappointing as well. So I
Absolutely.
think the real challenge, I would agree with you, Madhushanka and Marco Jansen, the two bowlers that are on form in the power plays, are going to be the
Mhm.
two big challenges. And I think once again, the key for India will be to not to lose a wicket up front. Say, don't lose a wicket for the first 6 to 7 overs. Give yourself some time to assess the conditions, and then you can play all sorts of cross-batted shots or whatever you want. Wankhede is a flat track. Everybody knows it. South Africa almost went on
Oh,
to
that's
score
gone.
400 against England.
Madhushanka has bowled Rohit Sharma with a
Whoa.
Jaffa as
I
we just
think
speak.
just as you were talking, this is what I was worried about because he's a guy who's had his tail up and he got the first ball to swing but got it on the pads. But this one, my word, what a
That was
ball. I
some
mean,
ball,
it's a
huh?
nightmare of a ball to face in your first 10. I
That
think
was
it's a nightmare of a ball to face even if you face
yeah,
1,000 balls on the day.
that
Oh
was
my
one
word.
of the balls of the tournament. You can say the ball with some
I think
Fati.
we should come to an end to our life.
Sandeepani always feels whenever we do live, someone gets out, but that's just
Yeah,
nonsense.
I
To
think
be
it's
honest.
something with Abel because
It's
because
with me.
Abel and Rohit
It's with
Sharma is
me.
not a
It's
good
with me. Or
combination.
whose idea was it to start doing live later on so that we get more views and stuff. So it's okay. I mean, as long as India wins, I don't mind this kind of stuff. And we were just talking about. I think we should get more views because we just predicted this happening just a minute ago, few seconds
Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just talking about it.
But not an
So,
ideal result. And also I think, yeah, Jaren got the point right that India has the most number of losses at Wankhede. For in I mean when they're playing in home conditions, that is not a very pleasing fact to have. But I still feel that batting first on this track was the right way to go about it, because once again, yeah, it is going to stay the same for the most part of it. But the Indian bowlers are in form. You wouldn't want to
but you just have
I
to say
mean,
that ball was just amazing. I'm still not over that ball. It was
Yeah.
just one good ball to watch. I mean, if you love fast bowling, that was of the top quality. I mean, it just Rohit Sharma waited for the ball to come in. Ball just held his line. Rohit Sharma had his bat stuck out, hit the off stump, top of off stump, ball cartwheeling Madhushanka. I mean, what a good! Oh, that's almost carried to the second the leg slip as well. Oh wow,
And there's
I
a
mean,
very
can
wow.
good
we just
field
stop the
setting
live
there.
right now?
And
This
that's a
is
very good field
interesting.
set there by Kushal Mendes. The fact that he's employed a field like that there, very good fun, very good
And I
I
think
batting
that
there.
is where India will need to be a bit more. I mean, Rohit Sharma couldn't do much about the ball that was bowled to him, but India
Yeah,
will have to do a bit more about the preservation of the wickets as well. We saw that the batters did not really have a great game awareness in the last one. So
Yeah.
I think that is a point where India should work on, because they are not batting deep. Mohammad Shami coming in at number 8 is never a pleasing sight to watch. But when
Mhm.
he's bowling with his tails up, that is a
No, I was
pleasing sight
just
to watch.
looking at his same presentation to Rohit Sharma. It was more like a roll of a wrist, more than you can
yeah,
say the ball swinging away. If you look,
Yeah, it was
I
an
mean, if
off
I had a
cutter.
cricket ball, I could have shown you. He doesn't keep his thumb underneath the ball. It's more on the parallel side of the seam where he just tries to roll it over and the ball just holds on the line. Very interesting way to ball is outswinger. I mean, outswinger to the right hander and in swinger to the left hander. Very, very interesting. But yeah, that's an interesting ball. Something which I picked up right now from that ball which he bowled. Usually, his seam is much more upright. Maybe he does not have a outswinger per se. Jaren, I think that's going to be very interesting to see, right? If batters have to
Yeah.
pick it up, maybe can pick it up from the hand rather than to wait it off the surface or in the air.
I mean, for me, the ball that got Rohit Sharma kind of seemed like a wobble ball. I'm not entirely sure if it is,
No,
because
it was
it is
more like
not.
a roll of a wrist. It wasn't
No,
really
it
a
was.
wobble ball per se, but it was a roll
Yeah,
of
I
a wrist
mean,
where he just let
hmm.
it go. Just like you can say a wobble ball because it's a scramble same one at the end of the day. Yeah, just holding the line more than
No, because the
doing
reason
a
I
lot
say
of
that is
movement.
because it was not a cutter for sure. It just seemed like a quick delivery. Like, I think if it was a cutter, you would have probably seen Rohit Sharma get a little bit more time. I'm not saying you would have survived that. It would have been just a good delivery, a cutter from that angle. But I think it just saw that Rohit Sharma had no time to react, and I think it was very quick. I think it was a wobble ball that left Rohit
Yeah,
Sharma. But I'm not entirely sure because I've not really seen Madhushanka ball wobble balls either. So
yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah.
be really
It looks
surprised if he's created something in the last what 3 days since they have
Yeah.
played. Uh, so I think that'll be very surprising if he suddenly learned a bubble ball. But yeah, it just didn't seem like a cutter either. So possibly he balled a scramble seam delivery, and that's probably also the reason why. I think that's the only thing I can see. Maybe you've got it right,
Interesting
Abel.
comment from
He did
Kapil
not.
Verma there. Looks like batting second has made this team forgotten how to bat first. But I also think that is also pressure which India has, right? The scope of pressure of setting a target is so much different to when you have a score on the in front of you. Something with South Africa likes to bat first and to bat teams out, which they don't like batting second. So India and South Africa are just the opposite end of each other.
But
But at
you
least
have to
for
see and understand and learn from what South Africa is doing. They are assessing the conditions well. They are keeping wickets intact for the
yeah,
first 20, 30 overs, and then
yeah,
they're going all out after the 30th over or so. Because
yeah,
most of
South
the
Africa playing the
accelerations
old
that you have
school
seen,
cricket, as you would like to
yeah,
say.
exactly. And I think when you don't have a very deep batting lineup, even South Africa, well, the bat deep, you can say a Coetzee can come in and play the long handle. So can a Kagiso Ravara. But I still feel that Marco Jansen at number 7, going forward in conditions which will be conducive for bowlers, he is still not yet ready to be that number 7 player. Even though he played an amazing knock against England, but then again, South Africa are really being clever in that wicket management. The only game where they couldn't really manage their wickets was the game against Netherlands, the one which
Uh-huh.
they lost, where they lost 4
Yeah.
early wickets. Apart from that game, you have seen South Africa keeping wickets in hand. If you see them losing 1 or 2 wickets in a hurry, they try to steady the ship for the next 10, 15 overs and then go after the bowling. And I think that is what India will do today as well. I mean, they were not expecting Rohit Sharma to get out this early, but right now, I think the best thing to do is assess the conditions, play out the first 6 to 8 overs, um, get a feel of the pitch, and then you can assess what sort of target you can set for the opposition, whether it is a 350 pitch or maybe it is on a bit on the slower side. There will be something for the seamers under lights, so I think 300 will be defendable as well. So I think
Yeah.
you'll have to assess those conditions as you go on and not really take too many risks early on.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. There's also a very interesting thing about Wankhede, right, Jaren? I mean, if you talk about the way in which a Wankhede is played throughout, let it be batting first or batting under the lights, you give that time for the first 10 overs or maybe first 8, 9 overs until the ball starts swinging, you can really capitalize on this wicket. And that's something which we've always often seen. Even the South Africa England game, Reece Topley did pick up Quinton de Kock early on. Similar way, Quinton de Kock hit him a 4, picked him up in the second ball. Then that steady partnership from Reza Hendricks and Rusty Van Dusen steadied them, got them to 100,
Yeah.
110, 120. From that's where they started picking up likes of Aiden Markram or likes of Honvik Klaassen who came and started playing the knock. So I think India should do a very similar template, maybe assess the condition for first 10 overs, as Sandeep rightly mentioned, and in Wankhede as well. There's that bounce which you get, the movement which you get up front, you can utilize it once you're ready to not lose wickets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if you look at today's pitch again, I think that was just a jaffa of a delivery. Now, I still won't judge Indian team yet. I feel against England, for instance, when they were playing that match, they kind of misread the pitch. They felt like this is going to be an easier pitch to bat on, and it's going to be a flat track when it wasn't really. And they did end up realizing that, but I think credit has to be given to Rohit Sharma, then KL Rahul, and then further on Surya Kumar Yadav. Once at that point in time they realized this is not a pitch where you can go bang bang bang, and you saw India actually gather their wits about themselves and do well. So I think it yet remains to be seen. There's something there with a new ball, though. I think Chamira
Yeah,
just got one to nip back
yeah,
in.
yeah. I just saw
So
that. But
and
I
that's
mean,
something
that's
that
one thing which
gives,
Bill has been also struggling with, the ball which has been nipping
yeah,
back into him.
yeah.
I mean, that
And it
that
just
is
seems
he's
like he
giving a
gets a
lot of
little
bat
bit
and
late on
bat
it.
gap between bat and pad. He should be. I think he should be
Yeah.
more compact. That bat just leaving away from his body. At least in the first 4 5 overs, he can be more compact because in a white ball game, the ball is not going to do much after the 4 5 overs. Sandiman, you think that's where technical ability of Gill can be questioned, especially at this stage, growing stage in his career. We've seen him get out more often than not in that manner, where he leaves the bat and pad, open. There's a small gap for the ball to sneak in, and he gets out. Even in the first series where he played against Australia, there was a small technical issue there.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to give it that he's coming off after a, after a dengue, after getting dengue, and he himself said in an interview he lost some 6 7 kgs. So something plays on the mental side as well. After that, he has played 4 games. Hasn't really averaged really well. He has played 5 games, I guess. Has an average of close to 25 odd runs, 20 22 odd runs. So which is he's still trying to adjust. He just has that one half century in 5 innings. When was the last time you saw Shubman Gill have just the one half century in 5 innings before the dengue break? So I think there is some sort of you can say lapse in form that he's trying to work upon, and I think this game and the next 2 games will give him the opportunity to get himself back on track before the semifinals. Because I still feel that these are practice games for India. India should look to experiment, implement. Even if you have a collapse, even if you have a derailment, you should have it in this game or the next 2 games. And because after
Yeah,
that we can't afford that, and
Yeah, I
until
think
then we
one
can
thing I just
actually
noticed
afford
about,
that because we have already won 6 games on the trot. And having said that, I really feel Jedin said that you can't criticize India right now because that ball to Rohit Sharma was a jaffer. But if India goes on to lose another wicket, the way in
hmm,
which Shreyas Iyer comes to bat will be interesting because his natural game
hmm,
is a very aggressive way of playing. He'll come in and try to play the pull shot,
reckless,
try
not
to play the hook
aggressive.
shot. Okay, reckless. You can call it reckless at some point, but it's his natural game. If he tries to play a game that
Shot.
he is not say acquainted with or familiar with, then
Hmm,
he may end up wasting 5 to 10 overs to get settled,
hmm.
and then may
I
play,
mean,
play a
I'm
reckless shot
also,
and
I'll
get
just
out.
add to that, Sandeep. It's such an opportunity for Shreyas Iyer today as well. I mean, he's been practicing for last 2 days continuously
yeah.
on short balls from reports what we are getting, just continuously batting out short balls after short balls. So if he is presented with an opportunity today, he'll have to make the most out of it, or else
Yeah, well, it does
there'll be
not matter
questions
if you're
on the
practicing
management
for
of
2 days or
continuing with.
20 days, as long as you are not able to play the short ball on the given condition. Yeah, practice does make your shot better, but I still feel that he was at a point from where it needed very much technical prowess to get out of that short ball. Phobia almost that he had during the IPL or before that as
Yeah.
well. From there
I
to
mean, I
reach a
think he's,
point where
he's taking
he's
his head away way too early. He's just putting
yeah.
his head away and he's trying to play that pull where he's getting stuck. And he's slightly late on the short ball, to be very honest. I mean, you don't talk about it often. If you look at Rohit Sharma, he gets on the short ball very quickly. Short ball is one ball, you have to be extremely quick and ready. And if you're late on the short ball, you're going to get a ball to go up in the air. That's exactly what's happening with him.
Yeah, and I think
Exactly.
the issue with Shreyas is also the fact that sometimes you feel like he's waiting. That short ball is right in the back of his mind, and he's staying on the back foot way too often. And
Yeah.
then, or otherwise, on days he tries to forget the fact that a short ball weakness is there, and all of a sudden he's surprised. So sometimes you say when a batter has a weakness, you don't try and feed it, but you try and remind him that, or keep him on the toes. The next ball could be the short ball, next ball could be the short ball, and sometimes you feel Shreyas Iyer gets into that idea that if you can go after the short ball and really go aggressively after the ballers, maybe that short ball won't be used against him anymore. But yeah, I mean, just
Absolutely.
reverting back to that point about Shubman Gill as well, right? I just noticed one thing. I don't know how. I don't know if he gets it better when he's in form or after facing some deliveries. But I notice his bat comes across. It comes rather in a V shape from outside off stump than coming in a
But
little bit
Jaden,
more
that's
straighter.
been
So
the
when you're
case
playing,
with
No,
Shubman
I
Gill
don't
right from
think.
his under
I
19
think more than
days.
that. What he
No, I
does
think so.
is
That
that
that makes it that much more
done.
difficult for him to close the ball. If he's not prepared for that in nipper, and he has to adjust last minute, like with the ball that Chamira balled him, it'll
Yeah.
take him longer to close his bat because it comes down like this and not like straight down, straighter
But I
Yeah.
think
as
he's
like
another
following
player
the
that has extremely good
off stump.
hand-eye
Yeah,
coordination that
he
allows him
does.
to pick the ball off the pads, or say even a
If
in
you
nipper
look,
that is coming on the
Shubman Gill,
wickets, he
he's
can
not
just
who
flick it.
plays on the besides the ball, right? He doesn't get behind the line of the ball.
Yeah,
He stays
Yeah,
besides the line of the ball. We talk about Sehwag, we talk about Prithvi Shaw for that matter. But Shubman Gill is slightly better in terms of that because his foot movements are much compact in terms of Prithvi Shaw and Sehwag. But he likes to stay beside the cell line of the ball. And with these kind of batters, what happens is they like to stay leg side of the ball and they like to play the ball on the offside more prominently. And all of these batters
yeah.
have got a very similar way of struggle. There is a ball coming into them because they stay
Hmm.
beside the line of the ball. Once the ball comes in, they don't get behind the line to cover the line. So that's one thing maybe Shuman will have to work on a lot more because especially when the ball is moving around. That's one of the reasons why he struggled a lot in England in test matches. He doesn't really get behind the line of the ball. And once he goes chasing behind the other ball, he gets the nick or he plays for the ball to come in, he gets out LBW. So I think Shubman has got ways to improve. If you look at that spell which he faced against Matt Henry in Dharamshala, he was trying to walk down the track to cover that. I don't think that'll work in a long term, to be very honest.
no,
Aaron Finch had a very similar issue. He struggled
but
for whole of his career like that.
exactly, it might work on slow pitches, but on a pitches which has some sort of bounce and carry for the bowlers, I think that is where Shubman Gill is really going to struggle because he'll not be able to
Yeah,
step out down the track against fast bowlers on those pitches like the Wankhede. You will not see Shubman Gill stepping out and then playing extravagant shots. He's going to play. He's going to wait for the ball till the very end and play trademark Shubman Gill shots on the back foot, just as much square as he can, and in the V as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's where, even if you look at the way in which he got out in West Indies this year, a couple of innings, he was waiting for the ball to come in and he just poked the ball going out with
Yeah.
Kemar Roach, who was bowling really well. That's a very interesting comment from Nabil Mohammed.
Yeah, I
Thoughts
think
on Danik Jagran's article on Virat
I
Kohli and
think
Rohit
Abhishek
Sharma?
Tripathi should come right now and bat for Team India, and then because
Yeah, yeah,
Rohit
I
Sharma
saw
is
the.
out, he should come right
Yeah,
now and score the 100 that he thinks
Yeah, टुक
Kohli.
टुक को खेलना नहीं चाहते हैं ना Abhishek
Yeah,
Tripathi. Okay, for a lot of people who do not know what the context of this article is, so according to Abhishek Tripathi, there are two players in Team India one who plays tuk for centuries and the other who plays for team selflessly. So he says
no, I think
दिलचस्पी
his
है
comment
विराट
was
का
Rohit Sharma
centuries
loves
के
to play
ऊपर
strokes and Kohli loves to make
प्ले
hundreds.
टुक टुक हाँ
Hundreds, I mean.
विराट का दिलचस्पी है शतक के ऊपर और रोहित शर्मा is not on that. Rohit Sharma's end goal is to make teams win. Now, my particular thing is this guy has been an agenda propagator for the longest period of time. He has gone behind Virat Kohli's family. He's gone behind Virat Kohli for the longest period of time. I've heard him on multiple spaces. Now, the one thing which we shouldn't do as Indian team fans, or even as cricket, don't promote such people. More we promote, talk about them, they feel like writing more of it. The article did not make
Yeah,
any sense to me. Virat
no,
Kohli
I
has
think
scored
it was just a
96 runs for your team
cheap
in
publicity
New Zealand
stunt.
series. Yeah, go ahead, Sandeep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a cheap publicity stunt done to, I mean, raise a few eyebrows. I mean, you know, if
yeah,
people are going to talk about the best player in the game right now, people are going to question them. He was okay with having a bit of hate as long as he became popular. I mean, the fact that you brought about Abhishek Tripathi on the live just goes on to show that he's making the rounds along with a
Yeah,
Kohli. And I
exactly.
think just to counter, I mean, there is nothing to counter. I mean, you just ask Abhishek Tripathi to come and bat for India right now, because I feel that Kohli will once again play to score a century. Abhishek Tripathi can do something better for the team.
Yeah, I think
I
Abhishek
mean,
Tripathi,
all I'm
according
gonna
to
say
Abhishek
is,
Tripathi, if you have scored any runs, which is, if he has scored, if for example Abhishek
yeah,
Tripathi he played tuk. If you look at that particular knock against Bangladesh, Virat Kohli scored what 17 balls, 31 to get to his 100. If that is called tuk, then I don't know what is a
How
faster
dare
way to.
he?
I
How dare
mean,
he score
just look
31
at
runs on
Virat
his
Kohli's
own?
centuries and look at I mean, India's match win rate. You'll see that it climbs when Virat Kohli scores a century. So absolutely absurd and baseless, and as rightly you guys have mentioned, just for the SEO optimization.
Oh
That's
wow,
I
all.
mean,
that's a
Chamira
great
is
ball from
bowling a
Samira.
wonderful
You just
spell out there in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Chamira has been by his back with a bang, and that's you see. I mean, we spoke about Chamira's miss in this World Cup, and if there was also Hasaranga, this team could possibly even do a lot.
Almost,
That was a
almost he had
that
Kohli right
almost
now.
carried. I mean, that was the inside edge, just bouncing in front. I mean, there's
Yeah.
enough steam movement in this Wankhede wicket. It's a good challenge. Let's be very honest.
I mean,
It's a
Virat's
good
thigh
challenge.
pad saved him there. If it hadn't hit the thigh pad, I think it would have carried to Kushal. Kushal made
Yeah,
his.
Probably
yeah,
even it could have hit the stumps as well. Bat, thigh pad, and
Yeah,
stumps.
I think it was going towards the stumps if not for the thigh pad.
yeah. Also, adding to the Abhishek Tripathi part of it, I think there's been a lot of heckling of abuse. I think, which is not a good thing. But just to leave that aside, I think these kind of journalists thrive on creating controversies. Now, I heard his interview in one of the channels where he was called in to really question, and I love the interviewer there because he roasted him left, right, and center. Asked him head on. He took on the questions, asking him, "आपको क्यों propagate करना है agenda वगैरह?" And he kept saying that आपको लगता है विराट कोहली और रोहित शर्मा के फैमिली एक साथ क्यों नहीं घूमते थे पहले? Now they're happy. You think before they were happy? I mean, he thrives. These kind of people thrives on controversies.
I think I'll,
So
I'll
my
just take you back to
question
the
is,
game. I think Chamira is in the middle of, doing a great
Yeah.
setup. I think he has bowled two nippers. You have to be careful for the one that holds the line, and rightly
he
left
just
by
said he did.
Kohli.
Ah,
Rightly
just-
left by Kohli.
yeah.
I think this was the
Yes,
setup. He
yes.
wanted Kohli to go for the drive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's setting it up beautifully. Even to a Shubman Gill, he has the right plan.
I'm just thinking if the
Two
pitch stays something of this sort under lights, it's going to do a lot more than this, to be very honest. Mohammad Shami and
I wouldn't
Mohammad
want to work
Shami's
out to play
record on
Mohammad
Wankhede is
Shami and Bumrah.
exemplary. I think
No,
Bumrah
I
and
think
Shami
this is
should
a
open
pitch
the bowling,
where
man.
again Siraj can go, berserk like he did in the Asia Cup.
Yeah, I think Sri
Looks
Lanka
like a very
would
good
not want
Siraj
to see
pitch.
Siraj today, in this kind of wicket.
But
Not gonna lie.
I just think Siraj will be very much more effective if he just does not be the. I mean, he has been very greedy this tournament. You have to agree that from ball one, he wants to, pitch it up and then go for the stumps and go for the wickets.
Yeah.
And I think you have to
Adjusting
bowl
of
some
lines.
good deliveries. He hasn't looked to really set up the batters in this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean,
And honestly, I don't
adjusting
think
of
this is a
length and line
350
is very
pitch
important
because
for
the
Siraj in
ball
this
is still
tournament. And I think,
swimming around quite a bit.
yeah, if you look Siraj's lengths, I mean, he's been too full in this World Cup, and that's something which doesn't really work in Indian pitches sometimes. And if you're bowling up front, and he's bowled most of these games under daylight, and it doesn't really do a lot, especially under daylight circumstances. But if you're trying to be
Yeah.
extremely full, if you look at Siraj's second spell, whereas he's pulled his length back, and that's really given him a lot of reward in the second spell.
I think
that's
sometimes
one of the Siraj-
overthinks with that new ball. At least in this World Cup, that's been the issue for him. With the new ball, he seems to be a little bit overthinking. Feeling there's a lot more on offer than there really is. And Siraj's greatest, I think, asset has been the fact that he's been hitting that good length again, and he keeps hitting that good length. I think people have spoken a lot about his pace, about his wicket-taking ability. I think it comes because of that accuracy that he's improved. Right before, if you remember, I think Siraj in his early days had the biggest issue of bowling being very inaccurate. But I think the issue has also been the fact that sometimes he's been just attacked on that good length. Batters have gone after him on that good length, so sometimes you feel a little insecure of continuing to ball that length, and not getting anything off the pitch hurts Siraj a lot. I mean,
Absolutely.
Siraj is his best when he gets even an inch of a moment, or maybe a millimeter here or there. If there's moment, he will start doing well. But
That was some shot.
yeah, I think just
That's
good to see
classic
a pull
Shubman,
shot
isn't
and
it?
a
Once the
cut.
ball is
Yeah.
on that length,
Just
he
wait
gets
for
into
the ball
back
till the very end and play on the back foot.
Yeah,
foot. Yeah.
and
I
that is
mean,
the area
that
you don't
you don't ball that to
Shubman
Shubman,
Gill,
to be honest. If you look at the first ball which he bowled, where he hung out his bat, that's a length to ball to Shubman. If you're a Sri
Yeah.
Lankan bowler trying to pick up Shubman, the next two balls was just bowling to Shubman's strength. You don't do that in any wicket in the world. Whoever you are, Shubman is going to punish you for 4. So that's one factor about Shubman Gill.
I think
But
you
let's just talk
cannot
about
ball
importance of Shubman Gill
outside,
today as well.
you
It's
cannot
such an important innings for Shubman Gill to come back in form and to score big,
Yeah.
not just to score some runs. If Shubman scores 100 or a 70 or 80 over here, will do India a world of good heading before the semi-finals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is the match for him to get to form. He's also got. I think after this now you have South Africa as well coming up next. So if Shubman can get back into form in this one, will do his confidence a world of good. And I think one thing that Sri Lanka have to be careful is you cannot, especially when you're bowling from the angle that Madhushanka is, you cannot stray outside off stump. A little bit outside off stump, fourth stump, fifth stump line. He loves playing square of the wicket, and the length that Madhushanka is trying to ball, that length is the right length on this pitch. But
Yeah.
if you move a little outside off stump, that is Shubman Gill's strength. So you have to stay middle and off. I think that's the best
I
area
think
to
there
ball
is a
to him.
fine margin of error because you can't stay too
Absolutely.
much
The
outside off
moment you
stump and you can't
cross,
stay on the pads.
yeah, the
Yeah.
fourth stump on the leg side and the fourth stump on the off side, anything beyond that, Shuman's gonna pounce on it. It's very
Okay, my
strong.
question is, will Shubman Gill hit the statue today?
I mean, ideally he should not, because that would be disrespecting. I mean,
Ideally, he should not. Does he
father-in-law.
know where the ball is going?
I don't think he's gonna aim at the stumps. I mean, at the statue. Sorry.
He
He
doesn't
shouldn't
get
aim at the statue. I
brownie
think he should.
points once he gets back home, or however it is in future. At least that's going to be questioned by Mr. Sachin Tendulkar.
The
But at
god
least
of
to
cricket.
impress, at least to say that I can hit till there to impress future whoever,
Yeah.
you can possibly do that.
Yeah, but just coming back to the point that Abhishek Tripathi made regarding Kohli's century, and Jaren really affirmed the fact that when Kohli has gone on to score centuries, India have won close to 80% of the games. Even a
Yeah.
Sachin Tendulkar having scored 100 centuries, India only won 53% of the games where Sachin went on to score a century. So it just goes on to show the level of impact that Kohli has had uh, on this team,
Ooh.
and we almost had the future son-in-law of Sachin uh, getting
See,
dismissed.
that's the length I'm talking about, right? That's exactly length I'm talking about. You put Shubman in a spot when you're balling there.
Yeah.
There's one thing about Shubman, like we talk about Shreyas as well, he goes for his shots. Shubman does go for his shots. I know it was a tough catch,
And he
but
should, and he should on pitches that has something for the batters. After assessing the conditions, you should absolutely go for your shots. It's okay if you get out, but that is the intent or the template that India has been showing in this World Cup, and I think they should stick to it, no matter even if they have one or two failures with it. But what I wouldn't want uh, is say a lack of effort, say in the middle overs, and losing too many wickets up front where you don't have the ability to
hmm,
capitalize the middle and the death overs, because
yeah,
clearly we were not happy with how India played with the bat against England, because I still feel 229 against a good side was 20 to 30 runs below par,
absolutely. I
and no
agree.
matter
I agree
how
with
well you
you.
bowled,
I mean, I think
it would have been really difficult.
the
Absolutely.
due
I agree
did
with you
come into
totally.
that match. It was just that England were so, I mean, too many wickets down for them to really take advantage of the due. Or else India would have struggled in that match with the due coming in. I think second half. By the time due came in, England had lost 7 wickets,
Yeah.
and the
Uh-huh.
game was over for sure. But
It was.
that's where you have to be careful of the fact that
No, but I
you
think this
don't.
over is going to be a make or break for Sri Lanka, because Chamira with two maiden overs, it's going to be interesting to see how Kohli plays him. Because if it is the Kohli that played against England, he would look to now score some runs and get through it. I mean, get
I
the
also
runs
think,
flowing.
if you look at this pitch, this slight bit of dampness. I think
Yeah.
where Dilshan Madhushankar is balling, the ball is slightly stopping. I don't know what it is, but it's not like ball is coming onto the bat pretty well because of the dampness, and there's also grass covering there, and that's one of the reasons. Oh, that's out. Oh, he's dropped him.
Is it? I mean, I think I'm behind you right now. But yeah, I
He's
think.
dropped him.
Like I
I'll
said,
be
I mean,
honest.
this over is going
This
to
is
be
the
the make or
second
break.
time in the innings now where Kohli's almost chipped one back to Chamira. The last one just bounced in front of him. This one, it was a tough one. It is always tough for fast bowlers to take catches of their own,
He almost got in
bowling.
the second attempt. Not the first one. The second attempt, he almost had him.
He
So yeah,
grabbed it. I
with
think he
Chamira,
fell down and it popped out. He had it in his hand.
He had it. He almost had it.
Oh
he
no no
had
no
it. He
no no!
had it.
I
He
think
had
I
it.
think he couldn't control the ball. Yeah,
He
Yeah.
couldn't control the ball. That's what it was. He had it in the
and
second attempt almost,
I
but
mean,
I
I
think
with
said
that
this over is
Chamira's
ball,
going to be the
action.
make or break. Two maiden overs,
Yeah,
Kohli is not going to sit quiet.
I mean, if you look at
I
Chamira's
think the
action as
ball
well,
is
right? He
blindly
really puts his
steaming
back
away.
into it. Yeah, I mean, he really puts his
Kohli's
back
chipping
into it,
wary
this
of not
Chamira, and
getting that shot.
that's when the catch comes to him. If any catch when he's returning, when there's a return catch, because he puts his back into it, he's already facing down, and then he has to look up, react to the catch. So I think his action makes it that much more harder for him to
So
take those
two
return
drop
catches.
catches in two balls for Sri Lanka. Ooh, that's another Jaffa. I mean, this is some spell of bowling by Chamira here, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
This
right
is
now it seems like he's channeling his inner Chaminda was.
no, he's faster than Chaminda was. Chaminda was never had this
I
hostility
think
about him. To be very
he's
fair,
more of a
this is
Dilhara Fernando, who can be really
oh no,
consistent
no,
at
this
times
is
and
quality, man. Dilhara
really
also
stay at
wasn't this
times.
fast. I'm loving to see what I'm seeing from Chamira, but at this point as a batter, all what you can do is just respect the spell. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the beauty
And
of
hope
50
that,
over format,
one
which
of them
people
does
don't
not
realize.
catch your edge or
I mean, the
does
first
not catch
delivery,
the thumb.
it was an outside edge that Kohli was trying to play a cross-batted shot to a ball. Well, I mean, on other days he would have flicked for a boundary, and this one I think it went between the bat and pad. Not positive signs for Kohli. I think he has had way too many inside edges to. I mean, look, he'll now be very
I
very
think
tentative against Sri Lanka.
release the pressure by hitting a 4 now, a cover drive, and that will do him a world of good. I mean,
Yeah, but I
that
think
shot.
that should be a cover drive and not a lofted shot. I mean, don't hit in the
It
air
is
right
not. It
now.
is not, Sandhimani. Don't worry.
It's not.
It's gone to the fence.
It's
It's a
gone.
beautiful
So,
shot.
but yeah, I mean, to be very honest, at this point, there's a Virat Kohli like tendency to dominate. Virat Kohli,
Yeah.
you've seen him often. He doesn't like to get peppered with a good spell. He likes to
No,
And that's
dominate
a
not
with
good
very,
for
power.
the fans.
that's sign of a good player, right? Good players don't like being dominated. They like to dominate. They hate it if
I
the
mean, there's some
opposition is
issue
on
with
top of it.
Chamira is facing with the kind of injury proneness he's gotten. I think that fall is really, really, it could be a
Yeah.
small
But it was still
shoulder
played
injury there.
upishly, don't you think? The ball was played upishly this
I
one.
mean, if you're gonna go find mistakes and everything, textbook cover drive. He's not Tempo Pavuma, man, to play textbook cover drives time
Oh,
in and
talking
time
about
out.
Tempa Bavuma, I think now you should please drop South Africa. Please go on and drop your captain. I think he has played with that quota for way too long. I think he does not deserve
Yeah,
another chance.
quota pact is over now. Your daily limit of quota is over. That's it. Or your World Cup quota is over. I think Chamira might be taken off the bowling. Very surprising, very tragical end if he is gonna stop bowling here. I think
I mean, not
that's.
tragic if you are an Indian fan, but if you're a Sri Lankan fan, you don't really have anything to cheer. All your fast
But
bowlers are
Dude,
getting injured one by one.
just leave the fans aside. But this was a good spell of bowling. I mean, this was
Great
oh
spell,
yeah,
outstanding,
great spell.
outstanding spell of bowling. I
I
think.
think on another day he would have probably gotten two scalps as well in the 2 overs that he bowled. I think he was really unlucky. Some inside edges not carrying, some inside edges. I mean, missing the inside edge of the bat. Beautiful setup in the first 2 overs. 1 over against Kohli, 1 over against Gill, and I think this over it was a make or break. Had a catch. I mean, had a chance to take Kohli in the first delivery. Got beat Kohli off the inside edge in the second delivery. Something which you not don't see from Kohli. I mean, when was the last time you saw Kohli getting beaten with the ball passing between bat and pad,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
yeah,
not going to
mean,
hit the stumps?
it's very difficult
yeah.
to beat Kohli inside edge.
I
I
mean, not
think
just that.
outside
One
edge
thing about Wankhede is the
still
bounce, which is
happens.
saving Virat Kohli here. You
Yeah,
know, then Wankhede, that bounce, that extra bounce which you get, is really saving Indian batters here.
true.
So
I think a little bit more up. I mean, if they pushes the length up a little bit more, but yeah, I think his pace has also come down a bit, hasn't it, Chamira's? The
yeah,
last
after
ball
that
also you
fall,
felt like he was dragging his shoulders a little bit. So I mean, it's sad to see. I think the Sri Lankan team has really been plagued by a lot of injuries. For their bowling side, I'm saying the batters have been reckless. But if you look at the transition, their bowlers have really not been fit, whatever reason it may be. And I think maybe there's a lot of lack of maybe something where I think India suffered this a long time, right? Where India did not know how to take care of its fast bowlers from the
Mhm.
2000s, from the 1990s onwards to 2000s. Indians did not really take care of their fast bowlers, and a lot of fast bowlers
Yeah,
struggled in
yeah.
that era with injuries and stuff like that. I think Sri Lanka is going through a very similar thing. Maybe it's time to maybe set up a pace institute which
Academy
takes care
kind of.
of the paces.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct,
maybe
correct.
something like what MRF has in Chennai,
Yeah,
something like that. But that is obviously MRF, a corporate based one. But maybe Sri Lanka cricket should look at that.
maybe. I think that's about it from us today. I think we've had a good discussion on this particular game, and that's another four from Virat Kohli to end our live. Good
But
shot,
I
one
think we
drive.
have also taken the wicket of Rohit Sharma as well when
I
he
mean,
was in the
though,
middle.
if Sandeep, you're gonna say this, people are gonna come in and throw a lot of hate. Our channel will be banned because people do believe a lot in these kind of stuff. So don't add fuel to the fire. You don't want the
I think
wrath of
I'll
Rohit
go
Sharma
and
fans.
ban Abel.
Yeah, that's about it. Good. So have a good game, all of you. See you all at the end of the game. Hopefully, in India win 14 points. Or
score
India win
score
out.
prediction. Score prediction time.
330.
Whoa, I think 280. I think 280, 280. I think it's going to be a good. I still think there's a lot of
I
demons in
think
this pitch.
why is it 330? Because the pitch will get a lot flatter after the first 15 overs.
I'll go with 350 because I feel today the
Wow.
Oh, guys, I
India
have to
hasn't
say,
really utilized the death overs. I
I
think
think
today
Surya
is going
Kumar
to
Yadav has fireworks to deliver.
I
Yeah.
think I have to say one thing, guys. I'm 2-1-2. Yesterday I said South Africa will come close to 360. They scored 357. Day before yesterday, again I had gotten it right when I said 200. Bangladesh ended up
Okay, buddy.
202. So
Yeah.
could
So there's something
be.
called two times lucky,
I
third
think
time luck. So,
law of averages might just catch up with me today, but I can
it's
enjoy
not
while
but
it's
law of
yeah,
happening.
averages. I
280
think the Indian
sounds
team is
very
going to catch up
practical.
with you today.
I'll tell you,
They'll
Jaren's score is more
yeah.
practical. Ours both is just very infatuated at this point. Jaren is working just with the score predictor of ICC right now. So that's how it is
So
calculating
maybe I
much
should try
better.
Boomer Lemon's predictor feature. Who knows? This might be my week.
Yeah. I think we'll predict our scores before the game. What do you say? Predictor feature can be used for better. I think I have predicted for 300 plus, so that's why I have gone with Jaden has predicted 252, 300 in the Bromo predictor app, and Sandeepani has gone 300 plus as well. So that's about
I've
it from
got
us.
350
Rajita has
plus.
come to ball. Last time we ended the live, Ruman Gill got out, so this time I don't want to end live like that, so I'm ending it right
Last
now.
time